Hello there, welcome to the channel, possibly welcome back. Thank you for joining me. Today we've been playing around with the pedal board for the contrabass clarinet a little bit, did some rearranging, and the main feature that anybody that's seen this setup before will notice is that on top of the new float that we've been using, we also have a new fuzz pedal. We are switching out the Jackson Audio Modular fuzz for something a little simpler, at least at least theoretically. This is the Fuzzrocious Pedals 420 Fuzz. Been wanting to get our hands on this for quite a while. The main reason being that we have a dry wet blend here, currently set all the way wet, and that means that it goes very nicely with bass tones. We can do the same thing that we've been doing with the Jackson Audio plus the Omni signal blender. So basically we're trying to make our pedal board a little bit smaller and more efficient by having a pedal that can do, hopefully, similar stuff to the Jackson Audio Modular fuzz, but take up less space. And one of the reasons that we think it may be suitable in that regard is that there are two different fuzz circuits in here. One of them is the standard fuzz. The other one can only be used on top of the other fuzz. So I'm fuzz stacking, but what you've got here is a like a hybrid. They call it hybrid. It's like you can, when this is activated, you can choose how much of this and how much of this are blended together. So in some ways it's like two fuzz pedals. If you put it here, you can choose between this one and this one. Like activating this one when this one is on will have only this one in this position, or you can blend them together. So there's a lot of flexibility, it seems. Let's see how it goes. We have had a little bit of a noodle with this already, so we've got a rough idea of what to expect, but we do definitely want to take things at face value and do as fair a possible as comparison with the Jackson Audio Modular fuzz. So let's dive in. We have our usual selection of samples. The one we're going to start with is the one that we're using for tuning the Jackson Audio Modular fuzz into our favorite sound, and that's the low C on the contrabass clarinet. So basically the bottom up approach that we were using previously. So using that sound design tool, this is the sample itself. Not particularly loud, but you will see when we add the fuzz. And that's a pretty positive start there. That's a very lovely, tasty tone. What we've got here is we put the position of the fuzz here based on the little bit of noodling that we did before. Just take a look. Also, only the one circuit is currently activated. We've also got a choice here between a 9-volt and an 18-volt system. That's an internal thing that takes place there. So let's activate that again. We'll play with the fuzz a little bit. We'll play with the tone a little bit. We'll add in a little bit of wet and dry, and then we'll try some more range of the clarinet. So here we go. quite nice. More open. That's quite nice too. This is a very nice knob. That's a nice position there. Pleasant, those two positions. That's not unpleasant. Okay, let's compare with 18 volts. Yeah, definitely 18 volts is preferable. Yeah, add some mids, I think, there. Low mids, maybe. That's nice. Yeah, there's some really nice sounds here. That's lovely. See, that's really nice too, in 9 volts, but okay, mixing a bit of dry in it. There we go, I think that's where it starts to overpower it. You can see how that adds something there. that's rather pleasant. Yeah, definitely 2 or 3 o'clock. Between the two, because why not? Okay, let's have a look here. That's lovely. And then in 9-volt, pumping this up a bit. Okay, there are clearly some lovely sounds to be had here. Very, very pretty. Let's try the second channel, and we're going to engage this, and with this being in the position that it's in, the hybrid knob, then it's going to be only this channel, and then of course we can try blending them together. I mean, fuzz pedals are so interactive. That's been my impression. By that I mean, sorry, that the knobs on them are so interactive, and I mean that's been true from when we first started with the Fuzz Factory, which of course, you know, that is a particularly interactive pedal. But let's try this second channel. On this side, at 9. Oh, what's going on there? Something to do with the fuzz. There we go. That's something that it's worth mentioning, actually. This is a gated fuzz. So we will get to it, but the float is less necessary here, it seems. We'll get to that though. Like we're not. I mean, we've only been doing the one note, but before, when I was messing around with the sample with the clicks in it, yeah, we'll get to that though. Okay, for now, let's hit this side. That's lovely. That's evil. If we're getting into this area, why not? Let's put this as open as possible. Okay, if we pump it up all the way, where does it work? seems to be a nice balance there, maybe. Okay, let's try with the 18 volts. Not such a huge difference. At least there. Let's try with that there. Okay, so we've got a couple of nice sounds going there. I think we will leave it in 18 volts for now because that is very pleasant. I'm sure we could come up with more there if we wanted to. This one we seem to have been finding good positions here and here. Let's try blending them a little bit and see. So yeah, let's see the two different sounds. Okay, let's try blending. That's lovely. Very nice indeed. Okay. Okay, I think that's been a pretty good demonstration of, first of all, the difference between the two different tones, the qualities of the fuzz, and how they can be blended differently. I still lean more towards the 18 volts, going to put that back up now. But the way that I would probably use this would be to have it be the way it is now with the two different fuzzes, but then, you know, like, so that I could have two quite distinct sounds, and then have a hybrid for you know, special occasions. So that all seems to be going very nicely. What I want to do is run through some different samples now. This is we will do these with the different tones, and this is the sub bass range of the contrabass. Okay, now we're getting into the bass range of the contrabass now, and this is where in previous attempts, the previous little jam we had with this pedal is what I mean by that. We were a little bit disappointed with the pedal, to be honest. You'll hear what I mean, hopefully. As we go up into a higher register, we do tend to lose some of the prettiness of the fuzz. At least that's the way it was before. Okay, gonna take a quick break to bring in the washing. Check the battery, we're doing okay. So, the bass range of the contrabass clarinet through the 420 fuzz pedal. Let's clean that off there. Okay, so the tone of that upper bass area of the contrabass there is nicer than I recall from the little bit of fiddling around that we were doing with this pedal before. Probably because maybe we've got a slightly better setting going for ourselves here. But the gating on that, it gets very obvious. I'm sure you could have heard it where we were getting like almost like a wah effect. And I mean, this could be the nature of the pedal. This could be the fact that it's a contrabass clarinet going through a bass pedal. Sorry, a guitar or bass guitar pedal. Yeah. So let's try the mids range, which is much smaller. And that should be another point of comparison. I think that essentially what we're doing, or what we have been doing with the Jackson Audio Modular Fuzz, is very much customizing things for the contrabass in a very specific way. So, for example, the way that we were working on the very specific EQ balances of the Fuzz Factory. I'm sorry, not Fuzz Factory, the Modular Fuzz. It meant that we could get the higher range of those notes as we wanted it to be. And the fact that we're putting the float before that now is, I mean, in some ways we are creating a gated fuzz, but we're making the gate separate from the fuzz. So yeah, this is a wonderful point of comparison. I'm not sure if this is the ideal system for us. I think maybe with the contrabass we want greater flexibility. Let's see. This is the mids, low mids on the contrabass clarinet. Really quite lovely. Okay, even with the float on there, we don't seem to be getting rid of that intense attack. Maybe that's something that we also need to check up with on the Jackson Audio Modular Fuzz, because I'm not sure that we tried the whole range of the instrument, or even the low mids with the float. It could be that we need to put some kind of compression before the float to make sure that all the tones are of a similar volume before going into the float, so that the envelope is triggering it in the same way every time. That's definitely something to have a think about. Well, there we go. Like, overall, this is a wonderful, wonderful experiment. I do think it's making me realize how we're better off with a more customized approach, The other thing that I forgot to mention, I think this is another fact of this, just to do with this being a gated fuzz, is that the sentry is behaving very differently here. And it could be that I need to play with the settings a little bit more, because they are quite, that this is definitely a different output volume than the Jackson one. Let's just give a quick demonstration of that with the bass range. It's taking off all the top end, yeah. And I'm not even sure. And I'm not even sure I could explain why that is, to be honest. Well, there we go. The other thing that we wanted to show was the way that the key clicks of the contrabass are still very much present in the Fuzzrocious, even though it is a gated fuzz. So let's give this a try. Yeah, not a fan of that attack. There we go. But listen now with the float. The click back up hasn't really been a problem. Let's try a little bit less sensitivity. Yeah, so you can see what I mean there. We've got one more sample with clicks here, which will demonstrate this. But the way that the gate affects the attack of the contrabass is not something I'm a fan of here. Maybe gated fuzzes are something that we need to be a little bit careful about, for the simple reason that they affect the attack of the instrument, and the attack of the instrument is something that we're very sensitive about, and rightfully so. Okay, so let's try that out with this sample here. Yeah, that's nicer, but I don't know. A little disappointing, I must admit, because I've been looking forward to trying this pedal for quite some time, and I must admit to not having been very educated about what a gated fuzz actually is, but I have a better idea now. And you know, these are some lovely settings. I'm sure that we could get some great sounds out of this pedal if, for example, if we were a guitarist or a bass guitarist, no question. But even with the contrabass, we could get some great sounds out of this. But I think that there's just certain things about it where it's too much of a guitarist's pedal, the gate being chief among them. This 9 volt 18 volt difference is really cool. Even with the 9 volt pumping up the fuzz levels here really makes a difference. And you know, I could see us making some really good tones with both of those voltages, even though 18 is definitely a favorite. So yeah, maybe not what we're looking for, but very much worth trying. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to play a little bit of a sample. We're going to take the float off. What we're going to do is add in the night sky, I think, and see how it sounds with that. So let's go back to the normal fuzz there. This is a bass line I think that we wrote a little while back for poetry setting in the doom style, and let's see how it goes. Okay, well, that was a wonderful, fun exploration there. This, I think, would be a great pedal for a guitarist, a bass guitarist, especially because of this blend there for the bass. I mean, that's what we want for the contrabass, but I really think that the impression I'm getting is that we are better off with the Jackson Audio just because of the tone sculpting options that's available. Maybe what we'll try and do is get another basic case for the audio without the for the Jackson Audio one, so that we can have two different fuzz pedals in the loops and do like a blending situation like this. That would be super cool, because you know there's what's it, 6 modules altogether, and at least 2 of them we've got tones that we really like, and we could even buy more perhaps. But I am getting the impression that we're on the right track with the Jackson Audio Modular Fuzz, and that this, as welcome as it is not what we're looking for right now. Well, live and learn. Hopefully this has been as interesting for you as it has for me. Interesting and enjoyable, hopefully. And thank you for sticking around. Stay safe.